Lou Ann Pygott. You are in my kitchen, and I'm going to make something new today. I'm so excited. So I found this recipe. It is called Tennessee Peach Pudding. It looks to me a little bit like a cobbler, but not maybe exactly. It's called peach pudding. Have you ever heard of Tennessee peach pudding? I don't know why it's from Tennessee, but here we go. All right, so I'm going to start with something on the stove. And it says we're going to whisk together brown sugar. Okay, so brown sugar, and I'm making half this recipe, so I need 3/8 of a cup of brown sugar. That's 6 tablespoons. Find my little 1/8 of a cup measure somewhere. Oh, wait a minute, was that it? Oh yeah, oh, the handle's broke. Okay, that's the same as this double tablespoon thing right here. Okay, so 6 tablespoons is basically what it is. Again, do double the recipe if you want. The full size. The full size goes in a 9x13 pan. But I'm just making half. Okay, there's that. 6 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then we're going to do the same amount of white sugar. I'm going to have to get some more white sugar out probably for the other part. So 1. So that's 2, 4, 6 tablespoons of white sugar. Then we're going to have a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Good morning, how are you? 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I am real curious how this is going to turn out, because I have never even heard of this or made it before. Then it says you're going to whisk these together. Okay. And we're going to add water and butter. Okay, so we're going to add 1.5 cups of water. You pour that in here. There we go. Okay, here's 1.5 cups of water. And we're going to turn on the heat. And then we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. That's for half the amount. There we go. And we'll add in the butter. There we go. Now, it says what we're going to do with that. Bring to a boil and stir until it's dissolved. Okay. Bring to a boil until the sugar is melted. Okay, so while that's happening, then we're going to mix some other ingredients. Let's see if we can do it this way. Can you see over there? Oh yeah. Alright, so we're going to mix in that bowl the other ingredients. Alright, let's see. We're going to put flour. Okay, we have 1 cup of flour. And that's just a 1/4 cup measure, so we'll do that 4 times. Cup of flour. Then we're going to have 1/2 cup of sugar. if I have that much in here. I think I do. Oh yeah. Half a cup of sugar. Baking powder, we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of salt. A half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Let me stir this here for a second. See how we're doing. We're almost there. Just like making a simple syrup, kind of. Okay. Let's see how much cinnamon I have in this jar. Is it half a teaspoon? I'm almost out of that too. Just about. Yeah, I got another container over there. Just a pinch more. There we go. Okay. And nutmeg. Okay, so the nutmeg, we're going to 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, not very much. Nutmeg is really strong, so I'm glad it doesn't have a lot in it. Okay. Plus we have it in the topping too. Okay, so we're going to stir that until combined. Let's get a regular spoon. Oh look, we're boiling. Alright, let me get this stirred here. Yay! Move this pan. Because it says you bring to a boil till the sugar's dissolved and you remove from heat. So there we go, remove from heat. So then let's finish stirring this together. Ooh, that's some serious heat happening there. It's like a heater. Okay, so to this dry mixture, we're going to add, I'm just reading the thing here. We're going to add half a cup of milk and half a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, here's half a cup of milk. Half a teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. So then we're going to stir this together, and then we're going to add some peaches. Now you can use fresh peaches, but I will tell you I cheated this time and I got frozen. It says you can use fresh, frozen, whatever you want. I thought let's make it easy today. So I got some frozen ones and they're sitting over here thawing. I don't know if they're thawed yet, but let's hope so. Okay, there's our batter. Then it says we're going to add in the peaches to this. Let me read this again, make sure I'm not missing any ingredients. So I'm going to need 2½ cups of peaches. Then we're going to pour into a greased baking dish and pour the topping on top. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so here is our measuring cup. Let's see what these peaches are doing. I don't think I've had them out real long. Just do a little frozen, but enough that I can break them apart though. So here are frozen peaches. Like I say, if you want to use fresh, this is the first time I've ever used frozen peaches. I always have made fresh, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it quick. Let's make it quick. So here we go. Breaking them apart. 2.5 cups I need. That's probably good right there. Okay, so I'm going to put the peaches in here. I'm going to make sure they're separated since they're still stuck together a little. And that says you're going to mix it with this batter. Okay. There we go. Very nice. Alright, so let's stir that together. I don't really know how well this is going to stir. This is what it says to do. It'll kind of be one big lump. Yeah, it kind of stirs together. Okay, so it says put it in a greased pan. Now, like I said, for a 9 by 13 is what you would use normally. And this is, I probably really need a smaller one, but let us see here. Really should be like an 8 by 8 pan. Because I don't want it to burn, because that one's a little more shallow. So let's use that, because it's like half a 9 by 13. So we're going to spray the pan. We're going to pour in the batter. Sort of batter and a bunch of peaches. Looks like a big mess. It'll probably be really good. Okay, I need a scraper to get all this out. I want all the batter. And then this takes 50 to 55 minutes. It takes quite a while to bake, especially since these peaches are still cold, too. Okay. It says that you can put it in the oven, and then if you see that you need to cover it with foil later, it says you can cover it with foil, so I guess you just check it. See if it looks like it's about to burn or anything, put some foil on it. Hopefully that will not happen. And this cooks at 400 in the oven. So there we have that. I need to kind of spread it a little flatter because I'm going to pour this liquid on top. I don't want it to just all go to the corners. Now that hot liquid's probably going to thaw these peaches in a second. Interesting here that it has no eggs or anything in it either. So it is, doesn't it sound like kind of a cobbler? Although some cobblers I think have eggs in them. Depends on the recipe. Okay, there we go. Rinse off my hands. Then we're going to take our liquid here that we have so much of. It's so liquidy. And we're going to pour this on top. Wow. This is a lot of liquid. I hope a lot of it's going to evaporate. I assume it will. Okay, there we go. Yeah, those peaches will be thawed. All right, into the oven. This will go. Gotta be really careful not to slosh it. And I'm gonna go ahead and set it for 50 minutes. That's 50. Then we will check it. Okay, so then I'm gonna make my other recipe. I'll probably use that other pan for this recipe. Okay, so this is gonna be called, I've made this several times, cream chicken and cornbread. Let me get my recipe over here. So it's going to start out with 6 tablespoons of butter. Let me turn the pan back on. And let me get some butter. Alright, that is 1, 2, like 2.5, 3, 4, 5.5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, that'll do it right there. 6 tablespoons of butter. I've got one already open. I'm trying to, and it's like 2.5. That. And that. There we go. That to melt, and then we're going to add some flour once that melts. I'm going ahead and measure my milk. I'm going to need 1.5 cups of milk. And 1.5 cups of chicken stock or broth. I like to use stock though. Okay, so we're going to get that butter to melt. And we're going to add in, let's see what we're going to add. Like 3/4 teaspoon of salt, okay? Add the salt. And then we're going to add, this is 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I'm actually going to add the hot shot pepper, the one that has both the black pepper and red pepper. Ooh, knocking stuff over here. Get back up there. There we go. So it'll be a little spicy. Barely, though. There's that. Sizzling. This butter to melt. We're almost there. Then we're going to have 6 tablespoons of flour. So that is 2, 4, 6. So this is making a roux. This is like a homemade version of like the cream chicken soup. It's just homemade. So much better. I want to heat up this milk real quick too, so it will be not ice cold when I put it in there, and that way it won't take so long to cook. You can put it in cold, and it just takes longer to heat. But if you preheat it for about 1.5 minutes in the microwave, it's a lot faster. So we stir that around. As soon as that's done in the microwave, we'll be ready to add it to this. There we go. Now, I already pre-cooked my chicken last night. So I have the container of chicken. This is 2 chicken breasts. Well, actually, I use chicken tenderloins. You can use 4 chicken tenderloins. It equals 2 chicken breasts, whichever you want. And then just cook it. You can also use a rotisserie chicken and, you know, break up the pieces. You can do it however you want to get chicken. And then I'm using frozen mixed vegetables because it's real quick and easy. You can also use, you know, make your own vegetables. Use fresh vegetables if you want. Okay, so we're going to add the milk. We've got 20 seconds. Let me get my chicken stock ready here. Open it up. Also going to cut the top off of my mixed vegetables, so that's open. more milk. A cup and a half of milk. Then we're going to add a cup and a half of the chicken stock. I like the stock better because I think it has more flavor than the broth. There we go. We're going to add that in with it. Okay. That measuring thing in a minute, so I'm washing it. And we're going to stir, and then all we have to do is bring this to a simmer when you start seeing the bubbles. And then it's done. And then all you're going to do is you're going to add the chicken in here and the mixed vegetables. This is kind of makes a filling. It's just like chicken pot pie filling. Only instead of, you could, if you want to make this chicken pot pie, just go ahead and make chicken pot pie. But I'm going to make it, I'm going to top it with cornbread. And the cornbread, you'll find, adds a whole lot more flavor. And I just used a Jiffy cornbread mix. You can, of course, make your own homemade cornbread. But it's a really good with like a sweeter cornbread. Just adds a lot of good flavor to it. Okay, so let's get my package of cornbread. And you're just going to mix it like it tells you on here. So you're going to need 1/3 cup of milk. So while that's coming to a boil, we'll get this ready. So if you let this cornbread sit for about 3 minutes, it rises a little bit and it's kind of fluffier, even if you're making just regular cornbread with it. I think it tells you that on the package. Let it sit for a minute and it makes it fluffier. Okay, so there's that. I sloshed it. Making a mess. Okay, now we're kind of bubbling here. Let me stir this again. Ooh, sloshing. Just about to bubble here. Okay, so there's that. Then we're going to add an egg to the milk. And we'll stir that up. Then we'll add the cornbread mix to it. Let me stir this again. Now this is only one batch of this recipe. Usually if I'm feeding a lot of people, I double all of this and it'll make a 9 by 13 pan. But this won't be a 9 by 13 pan because this is only like one batch of it. And it will just be, it won't feed a big crowd. So just double it if you want to feed a big crowd. Okay, so I love that these little Jiffy cornbread mixes, you can mix them right in this little 2-cup mixing cup. You don't have to even put it in anything else. This goes right in the mixing cup that you measure the milk in. Just make sure it's a 2-cup mixing cup. Okay, so you're going to stir all that together. I'm going to get it off of the hot oven though. And then you're just going to let it sit here until your other stuff is done. And then what does it tell me I need for vegetables? Vegetables says we need 2 cups of vegetables. So I'm going to measure that over here in another bowl. Get that rinsed out. I got a few of these peaches left too. I'm going to put those up in the freezer. There we go. How are we doing here? We're getting thicker. Just about here. this goes, actually you're going to cook this one at 450. I think you could cook this at 400 too, because this, yeah, because the cornbread actually cooks at 400. I think I'm going to put this in with the dessert. Because it'll be the right time. 25 to 30 minutes. By the time I get done, it'll be perfect. And then they'll get done at the same time. How great is that? Okay, so I'm stirring. Waiting for this to boil. Let me put 2 cups of vegetables in here. That's just about this bag. See how much is this bag? Yeah, it adds a little bit more. So we'll just have some extra vegetables. I was a little short on the chicken, so extra vegetables and less chicken, it'll be fine. Okay, so I say we're boiling, so I'm going to turn that off. Then we're going to add in chicken. Already in little chunks. And mixed vegetables. See, it's just like chicken pot pie. If you want to put it in a pie crust, you can. Got noises going on here. Something's falling back there by itself. There we go. There's our filling. Yummy. So then I'm going to put it in a pan. You could spray it. I usually had gotten where I wasn't spraying it. Doesn't even matter, so doesn't stick. So I'm going to put it in this pan. Okay, so there we go. Let's make sure we got it spread out. Then you're going to take the cornbread, and you're going to kind of drop it in glops on top of this, and it's going to look like that's not going to work. It looks kind of sinks down in it, but it will rise back out of the filling, and it will not be soggy. So if you're like, oh, I don't like soggy cornbread, it will not be soggy at all. It was one of my concerns when I did this. I thought, well, won't that be soggy? Nope, not at all. It'll be perfect. So I'm just kind of spreading it on here. And if you have gaps between, it's not going to matter at all. This will kind of, you know, rise and swell up, and some of the gaps will fill in. But if it doesn't, it doesn't matter. It's okay if it has holes in it. It's not have to be perfect. See, I go back and kind of fill in some of those little holes too. Then we're going to put it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, and it's going to be at 400. Well, that's really what the box of cornbread says to cook this at 400, so I think it will be fine. I think I've probably done it before. Okay, and you put this in there uncovered. Woo, it's warm in there. And it smells like nutmeg. Oh, I got that in the center. I'm going to have to move that over. There we go. 30 more minutes and dinner is ready. And thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that today and that you go make yourself some good yummies for lunch as well. Bye.